The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Football Friday edition of Running Point. It is a Football Friday in the Mahoning Valley. Ron Potesta with you. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. With you till 3 o'clock. Power Hour will follow. That's 3 o'clock. And today we will be hearing from Southern local head football coach Rich Wright. He'll be calling in the program at 12:20. TJ Parker from Austintown Fitch. They have an interesting game on Saturday night against Cleveland Benedictine. TJ Parker will be chiming in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline at 1:20 this afternoon. We've made mention more than a number of times. This is a really weird year. We don't have a 10-game season. We are not going to be relying on the computer poll, and seeds are not going to be because of the computer poll. Under the circumstances of everything that has gone on, I think the OHSAA has hit it out of the park on about 90% of their decisions. They have absolutely nailed the quality of high school football this year, and the ideas that they have incorporated, we are going to find out, are going to be next to spectacular. I love the idea that coaches are going to be determining who the seeds are in this topsy-turvy season. And I know that we are so used to having all of the other sports where everyone in the state of Ohio is invited into the tournament, whether you're a 22-0 basketball team or an 0-22 basketball team, whether you're an undefeated volleyball, baseball, softball, girls basketball, whatever sport. If you're undefeated or you're winless, you're going to the state tournament. You're going to the OHSAA sanctioned tournament. And I love the idea that they opened the door for everybody to go into the tournament. I absolutely love the idea of everyone getting invited to the show. Now, obviously, there were some teams that decided we're not going to do this for one reason or another, and well, we'll find out how many teams bail out after the schedule is announced. And by the way, if you do, you'll be fined, I think, $100. Dana Balish had said $100 was going to be the fine, somewhere in that vicinity. I love the idea that they're incorporating the coaches from each region to be responsible to seed the teams, top to bottom. And again, depending on how many teams are in the region, the goal for everyone is to get down to 16 teams in a region for week number 8. Week 7 will be not everyone in action. You're going to have seeds and then the rest of the region is in action. The goal to get down to 16 teams. Week 8, second week of the postseason, you're going to go from 16 to 8 teams in the region. Week 3, 8 to 4. Week 4, 4 to 2. Week 5, regional championship game. Week 6, semifinals. Week 7, state championship. We're done the weekend before Thanksgiving. And ultimately, again, another great decision by the OHSAA. Football season is over before basketball season starts. So even if a team, and we'll use Springfield as an example because they went to the state finals, even if a team like Springfield and a bunch of their kids happen to play basketball, even if a team like Springfield happens to go to the state championship game, the kids that are going to be playing basketball will have at least a week to prepare for the basketball season. So under the circumstances, and again, obviously, this is not going to be the norm, nor do I want it to be the norm. I don't think there's anybody that wants football season to only be 6 weeks and have everyone go to the state tournament. But under the circumstances, I think the OHSAA has been solid as a rock with these decisions. I absolutely love this playoff format. I absolutely love the strategy that's going to be involved by the coaches. And let's be honest, and we've speculated about this for a while, if there is a badass team in the region that is, the absolute favorite, and you're one of those teams that, okay, we could make a run here, do you put yourself or try to put yourself as far away from that clear favorite in the region until you get to the regional championship game? Or do you just say, hell with it, we'll play them, bring them on, and play them as early as possible? Spoiler alert, if you're, the 2 seed, you're not going to be seeing that person or that team, I should say, until the regional championship, assuming you take care of business and that team takes care of business as well. And there's going to be a lot of teams from this area that are going to be worthy candidates of a bye. And again, let's break this down. You've got 24, 25 teams. Some of them have 26 teams. If you're looking at 26 teams in a region, you're probably going to go 6 as the top 6 teams get a bye. And then you'll have 10 games being played. If it's 25, then you're going to go 7. And then you're going to have 9 games being played. So if let's say there's 25 teams in pick a region. Let's go Division 4. You don't think Ursuline's not going to get one of those 7 seeds? They're 3-1. Now, that's why this week is so damn important, because you're voting this week. You're not voting next week. By next Thursday, everyone's going to know who they're playing in the first round, or if you have a bye. So week 5 might be the single most important week in high school football. And I would dare say that it might be the single most important week for some teams. This might be the single most important week in club history, in the program's history. What I mean by that is, and again, if you're a past championship team, it's not going to be the case. But let's throw out a couple of teams that are currently 4-0 or 3-1, and they don't have a state championship since the playoffs started. This is going to be absolutely enormous for that program, because you want to be able to win this game, impress the other coaches and ultimately get a bye. Get a bye, you're in the field of 16. And if you're a high enough seed, you're going to have a home game. All right, let's go to the phone lines. You're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on? Yes, sir, that's you. Hello. Okay, apparently not. So I look at a Leetonia over in Division 7, 4-0. United, who's 4-0, and they're playing a huge game tonight down in Salineville against Southern. And Southern's another team. Yeah, they started out slow, but they've won 3 straight games. Brookfield in Division 6, Crestview in Division 5. These teams, and Brookfield's not playing tonight because their game against Champion was canceled because of the COVID outbreak. South Range in Division 5. South Range is probably going to wind up being a 2 or a 3. I don't think there's any question, assuming they get past Struthers, and that's a big assumption, by the way. That's going to be a tougher game than what people think. But if South Range gets past Struthers, that's a 2 or a 3 seed. They're going to have a bye week in week number 7. They will have a bye. There's some teams right now that I can comfortably say without any hesitation, you're getting a bye. As long as you take care of business tonight or tomorrow, there's no question that you're going to get a bye. Canfield, no question you're going to get a bye. Absolutely no question. Provided they beat Cheney tonight, they're getting a bye. They're going to be one of the 5, 6, 7 top teams in their region. They'll get a bye. If Austintown Fitch beats Benedictine, they're getting a bye. Even if they don't beat Benedictine, they might still get a bye. Fitch has been unbelievable this year, and we'll catch up with TJ Parker at 1:20. Hubbard, if they can get past Poland, and that is a big, big if, I would think Coach Hoffman's club would get a bye. South Range should get a bye, win, lose, or draw. The schedule that they had, my God, they're in a conference where you have to automatically look at South Range's schedule and say, yep, kudos to them. You're 4-1, 5-0. You're in the top 7. Get a bye. Crestview should get a bye. They should be able to win tonight. We'll see. And again, if it wasn't for the incredibly horrible weather in week number 1, I'm convinced this team's 4-0 going into 5-0. The weather played havoc. Now, of course, both teams played in that weather, and Champion was able to beat Crestview and all. Hey, listen, Champion was the better team that day. And by the way, those Champions Division 5, I'm sure that Coach Q and the kids in Crestview would love to have a second chance to right a wrong from week number 1, and they might get that. They might get that. You go to Division 6, there's no question in my mind Springfield's getting a bye. There's no doubt in my mind Springfield's getting a bye. If you go to Division, let's stay in Division 6. I think if United knocks off Southern, there's no doubt in my mind DJ Ogilvy's team's getting a bye. If you go to Division 7, Leetonia, assuming that they can beat East Palestine tomorrow night, they're getting a bye. JFK, assuming they can beat Gilmore Academy, yeah, they're one of the top 7 teams. There's no question about that. Jackson Milton, if they get past Mineral Ridge, Jackson Milton's schedule hasn't been as strong, but 5-0 is 5-0. And there's not many teams in that region that can say we're undefeated after 5 weeks. That region has very few unbeaten teams, so I would think Jackson Milton would get one as well. And truth be told, I guess the real question, and we'll shoot this out next week when we figure out who has buys and who's going to be playing in week number 8, round 1 of a 7-week journey into the expanded OHSAA playoffs. Playoffs? I would love to have coaches injected with truth serum and have them say, would you rather play in week number 8 or 7? I'm sorry, week number 7, or take the bye, rest up, risk the possibility of coming out in week 8 flatter than a pancake, but you're healthy. How I would be curious to hear how many coaches would rather play and not have a bye, because that's something that I've always been fascinated with in terms of the other sports. When we have all the other sports in the state of Ohio where everyone is invited into the state tournament, you talk to some basketball coaches and ask them, okay, you're one of the 4 seeds. And normally in a sectional or district tournament, in a sectional tournament, the top 4 teams get a bye. And some of those coaches are, well, I don't want to buy. Well, many years ago when the OHSAA didn't dictate where you were going to be in the bracket, I remember, and this was going back into the early mid-'80s, coaches would get together and they would all have the, vote on who's the top seed and who's the second seed, the third seed, the fourth seed. And that was all they did. They just voted on the top 4 seeds. And then the top seed would have first dibs. And if they wanted to play instead of take a bye, that was their choice. The OHSAA a few years ago stepped in and said, "No, we want to uniform our brackets to where the top 4 seeds get a bye." And some coaches, they don't like that. They'd rather have the opportunity to let the good times roll and continue to play, because by doing that, you continue to stay sharp. If you're out for a week, you run the risk of coming out flat the next game, and in a single elimination tournament, that's the last thing that you want to do. So I'm going to be curious when this all comes out and we find out how many local teams have a bye. We're going to start talking to those coaches and ask, in a perfect world, what would you rather be doing in week number 7? Would you rather be playing or where you are right now with a bye? So when that starts coming out next week, we'll start talking to the coaches about that. We'll take a timeout. Rich Wright is the head football coach of the Southern Local Indians. Yeah, they got a pretty big game tonight against United. If Southern wants to have any chance at a portion of the EOAC championship, they need to get past United. We'll catch up with Rich Wright of the Southern Local Indians. That's coming up next. It's a Football Friday in the Mahoning Valley. You are listening to a Football Friday edition of Running Point, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Back in a bit.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
Boy is recovering from a broken.
Around our valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown. Right up.
Because you expect.
It's important for everyone.
No place like home.
More local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Football Friday edition of Running Points. Football Friday in the Mahoning Valley, brought to you by MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. An EOAC matchup down in Salineville, featuring the United Local Eagles taking on the Southern Local Indians. Eagles and Indians, a couple of birds, two birds of a feather, and they're both really, really good. Two of the elite programs in the EOAC. And to talk about tonight's game, we bring in, courtesy of the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, the head football coach of the Southern Local Indians, Rich Wright. Coach Wright, how are you today, sir?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm feeling pretty good.
Listen, I mean, you're entering your 6th year as the head coach at Southern. 2 state playoff appearances, including last year, and I know a lot of people were wondering how in the world you were going to be able to replace all of those trinkets that you had on offense. Jay Sloan and Cam Grodhouse. Mission accomplished. You guys have not missed a beat offensively. After the loss to Leetonia in Week 1, you guys have not missed a beat in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, we have we have 10 new starters on offense. We have 11, in our one returning starter, Brad Sloan, went from our split end to our wing back. So yeah, we got a completely new offense. We lost 8 great linemen. We lost a veteran tight end, a veteran fullback, an all-state defensive back that played quarterback for us, and we lost the probably one of the most athletic kids I've ever coached in Cam Grodhouse. So, yeah, we definitely definitely had to replace a lot on offense for sure. But but our kids have learned how to win. We didn't play well in Week 1. I mean, Leetonia played great. We had 3 scores called back. For just miscommunication with some penalties, and and Leetonia beat us 14-13. I went for 2 at the end of the game, and we got out coached and outplayed that game, but we also gained a lot of experience that night because it was a back and forth game and a lot of pressure. So it really helped our football team. We had a great win in Week 2 and 3, and then last week we kind of got a little rivalry with Columbiana, and the score doesn't really indicate the type of game it was because it was a really good football game, and but our kids are getting better every week, and that's all you can ask for.
Coach, you've been talking about the fact that you guys win. Well, I mean, look, 19-3 in the last 2 years. You went 9-2 in 2018, 10-1 in 2019. You guys are 3-1 this year. With all of those kids being gone, was the winning attitude in the last couple of years and the fact that these kids had an opportunity to play with arguably the greatest team Southern Local has ever had, and you guys have had a pretty interesting history of winning in Salineville. Were those the factors that had you guys still not missing a beat to this point?
I think so. I think we expect to win when we go out there. Our team, we don't miss practice. We practice hard, we study hard, and we work really hard. Obviously, this has been the craziest year of all time. Having a young team, you would like to have more time in the weight room and all those things. We're really happy to be playing. But we're behind. We're young. We got 2 freshmen starting on the offensive line, and we're a young football team. But our kids don't miss practice. They come, work hard, and not being arrogant or anything. But we do expect to win on Friday night. I mean, it was a strange feeling waking up on a Saturday losing, and our kids responded. And obviously we got a great challenge ahead of us with United. I mean, Ogilvie is an unbelievable quarterback. It's a shame he didn't get hurt, that he got hurt last year, because he threw so many nice balls against us the year before when they beat us, when he was a sophomore. And the Baker kid is very comparable to Cam Grodow. So I mean, they got a great team, and and our league's got great coaches, but Ogilvie and his staff do it as well as anybody.
Coach, I'm not going to, I'm not going to blow smoke anywhere, but I look at your resume as a head coach, and you have been an absolute legend in Columbiana County. For those that may not be familiar with football in Columbiana County, Rich Wright led the Wellsville Tigers to state playoff appearances in 2013 and 2014. By the way, you were at Beaver Local from 1998 to 2011, 6 playoff appearances there. You've been a winner every single place that you have gone. This is your 3rd school in Columbiana County, and the 3rd program that you have your fingerprints on in terms of state playoffs. Without giving up the secret recipe to your sauce, how the hell do you do this, Coach?
Well, obviously, I got real good assistant coaches. The coaches have been with me, from Beaver Local. We got a real good connection with some Wellsville coaches, and obviously, we got players, and coaches have to have players, and I've been fortunate to have great players. All the Beaver days and everything else. I mean, I just think we take an approach at it. Again, I just think that, we surround yourself with good people, and, Rich Wright is not a very smart man, so it takes a lot of help.
Well, I'm going to dispute that. I think Rich Wright is smart enough to know good football when he sees it, and he's smart enough to get the best out of his kids, and that is clear as day. What you're doing with a program that has lost everybody on offense, my hat is off to you, sir. Off to a 3-1 start. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. This week you're taking on a very, very good United team, and we've talked a little bit about Brutus Ogilvie and the fact that this kid 8 plays into the 2019 campaign, he breaks his foot, he's done for the year. This kid's got some insane talents, and how do you go about trying to limit the damage to what he does tonight in Salineville?
Well, obviously, he's the coach's son, so obviously he knows the game really well. I mean, we got to try to pressure him the best we can, try to hurry him up. We're not going to totally stop him. I mean, he's a great player. He's got a great arm. I think he's got a great future in the sport. We just got to be sound. We got to mix up some coverages. We got to get a little bit of pressure. Obviously, we have to know where Baker is, and but they are so tall and they execute so well, and they still got that great jet sweep package. We just got to play really aggressive defense because that's what we do. We haven't talked a lot about Brutus because we know how good he is, but we're just going to do kind of what we do and hope it works out for us. But no, he's a special player. And again, I hate that he got hurt last year because I think he's got a future at the quarterback position at the next level.
Coach, you talked about the height, and we had DJ on, Coach Ogilvie, yesterday, and we were talking about how he has some big kids where if you're in the red zone, you can just throw the ball in the corner of the end zone, do a little jump ball, and 99 times out of 100, they're going to come down with the ball. How do you go about trying to stop that height advantage? Is there any way without bringing in some kids that are 6'2" and 6'3" that may not have experience as a DB and say, hey, you're going to be playing DB tonight? Other than that, how do you try to take that advantage away from United?
kind of fortunate because the West. So we do have that, and we have a little bit of speed that we're going to try to match up. And we got Brad Sloan and Josh Pratt back there to help out a little bit. But no, I mean it's going to be impossible to totally take it all of away. Because they are extremely tall. They run great routes, and we just got to mix up our coverages and hope we guess right sometimes.
Hey, Coach, we kind of lost you, and you were making a point. Do you mind making that point again? Because your cell phone kicked out on us.
Yeah, I mean, I said that we have Timmy West is really tall. It's our corner, 6'3", 185. So he can match up okay. The other corner is a little smaller, a lot smaller. He's 5'8", 165. But we just got to use Brad Sloan and Pratt to help out and hope we don't guess wrong.
Rich Wright, the head football coach of the Southern Local Indians, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Yeah, I was talking in the first part of this show that this is going to be a very strange week. After week number 5, the coaches are going to be responsible for seeding teams top to bottom early next week. And then by Thursday, the OHSAA is going to announce the first round playoff matchups. And much like all the other sports, with the exception of football, everyone knows their opponent in the tournament before the regular season ends. Football gets this opportunity thanks to the COVID outbreak this year. I'm curious if you guys are able to be one of those top 5, top 6 teams that will probably get a bye. If you were given the choice between playing in the first round of the OHSAA playoffs or having a bye and an automatic berth into the second round, which one would you pick?
Well, I think I would want to play, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to play a meaningless game, with somebody else with a bye. But I think we'd like to play. One of our Achilles heels is last year we had a great team, and we drew a 10-0 team, the returning state runner-ups with 9 starters back in Trimble, and we had to go all the way to Trimble. We lost by 0.5 of a point for the playoff berth, or they would have came to our place, and it was a tough environment, and we lost. And but I would like to play. But I don't know. I don't know why you would vote before the season was over, because Valley Christian is going to be a very competitive game, and you still have United have to play Leetonia next week. But I guess I guess the tournament that we're in, I don't really call it a playoff because I think it's a tournament. So I don't know. I really don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, and I think that the reason why they're having to do this before the season ends is, if you do it after the season is over, then you're really rushing everything, and then the OHSAA has to work 24/7 just to get the opponents, and hopefully get the opponents early enough to where you guys are preparing for the first round opponent. So I think that's probably the reason why they're going to do it a week early. But I understand where you're coming from because, again, obviously you guys have a game against United this week, and a victory by Southern, I would very, very much be more than happy to say you guys get a bye in the first week of the playoffs, because I think you'll be one of the 6 or 7 best teams in Division 6 Region 21. But I'm kind of with you in that, hey, why don't we wait till the end of the regular season? Unfortunately, I just don't think there would be enough time for the OHSAA to get everything together and tell everyone who's playing who, unless you use the computer region or the computer poll and then use it like that, and everyone's seated as the computer poll has the teams where they are.
Yeah, I agree. I like Joe Attell. He does a great job. That's what I think we should go off of, but I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just so happy we're playing. It's been a strange year, and it's tough. You're right. You're definitely correct, and we'll see. I just don't like the fact that the season's not completed, and we're voting on it. But that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean it's right.
Coach Rich Wright, the head football coach of the Southern Local Indians, and obviously when the loss in week number 1, now I don't know if anyone thought Leetonia was going to run the table as they have right now, but they do have United in the final game of the season. I'm sure that it has probably crossed your mind a few times that a victory over United, and if United beats Leetonia, you get a portion of the EOAC title. And I'm sure that that's probably on the minds of the kids as well.
Right, and we're Division 7 now, so we're actually in the same region as Leetonia.
Oh, there you go. Okay, my bad.
Right, but we've always been Division 6 since I've been there. This is our first year in Division 7. We definitely, keep an eye on Leetonia, and we look forward to hopefully getting a rematch.
Well, and obviously, and look, I mean, the big king, I should say, in Division 7, Region 25, Warren JFK, and that's not that wouldn't be a bad matchup either. I think that there's plenty of teams locally where we could have all of the local teams, and don't forget Jackson Milton, who's also off to a 4-0 start. We could have plenty of local teams occupying those seeds or those top seeds in Division 7, Region 25 this year.
It's my team too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's a fun region, and I'm looking forward to seeing what shakes down in the postseason. And clearly, a rematch between Leetonia and Southern would be one hell of a football game.
Yeah, it was one of the best games that of the season so far. I mean, it was a 14-13 game. Yeah, it was a great game, and the Ferry kid's very special, and obviously Julio, he knows how to coach. So I mean, yeah, we look forward to all those things, and but our Valley has definitely got some good football teams, and obviously, we got to worry about United today, and what they can do. They could cause a lot of problems for everybody.
Oh, no question, and I think that. The game tonight down in Salineville should be a special one. Coach, before we let you go, you have the advantage in that you guys have been practicing all week long on that absolutely gorgeous turf of yours down in Salineville. No secret that United does not have turf, and they have been practicing on grass all week long. Is there kind of an advantage to that, or is that more of a myth?
Well, I hope there's an advantage. It's probably a myth.
Coach, are you there? Oh, man, our connection may have just crapped out with the head football coach of the Southern.
I'm not going to lie to you. I love the turf. I mean, Beaver, I love the mud with the big fullbacks like Jimmy Bowersock and Adam Hoppe and them. I love the mud. I loved our field. I mean, I might have even turned the sprinkler on a little more than I should have. But now I like the turf, and I like the speed that the Southern Local Indians have.
Well, you put that team on turf, and you guys are a pretty quick team. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think if there is an advantage, you guys on turf a heck of a lot faster than being on grass. And you made the comments, and I don't know if anyone else or anyone would even think about watering the field a little bit too much, although that's a brilliant idea.
I was kidding.
But there's no question that Southern is a much quicker team on the turf, and I think that in and of itself gives you guys an advantage tonight. But having said all of that, this is going to be one whale of a football game down in Salineville.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you. Looking forward to seeing the final score of this game, and I know a victory tonight. And again, my apologies. You guys are Division 7, Region 25. There's no doubt in my mind. Not only a victory tonight over United gets you one of the high seeds, it also gives you an opportunity to have a share of the EOAC championship and also continue your winning ways. Coach, I think you've done an unbelievable job. You had to replace everyone and their brother on offense, and you guys haven't missed a beat. And the reason why, you have a great program, and you are truly one of the best coaches in this area. And my hat is off to you, sir. An amazing job this year down in Southern.
I really appreciate it. A lot of good players. I really appreciate you contacting me today. And
Rich Wright, the head foot. Go ahead, sir. Finish your comment.
No, I just look forward to the outcome tonight. I think both play hard. And,
all right, all the best to you, Coach Wright.
Hey, thank you.
You're very welcome. The head football coach of the Southern Local Indians, Rich Wright. Our apologies for the cell phone connection. And it happens. When you're down in God's country, a.k.a. Salineville, a.k.a. Southern Columbiana County, it kind of happens. Anywhere in Columbiana County, actually. I mean, it's cell phones. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get some connection here. Well, what the hell's going on with this dang thing? Oh, I'm just kidding. Look, if you're in the middle of an area where you don't have good cell reception, hey, stuff happens. But you get the gist of the interview, and obviously that game tonight down in Salineville. And I do think the Indians get a little, not a little, I think they get a significant break in that they're going to be on the turf. Southern on the turf is a much, much better team than Southern on grass. And I will say this without any hesitation, as a Bears alum, had that game in Game 1 been played on the turf in Salineville, there is no doubt in my mind Southern Local beats Leetonia. There is no doubt in my mind. Southern is just a completely different team and a much better team on the turf, which leads me into the OHSAA playoffs. Now, it's going to be a little different format because the higher seeds are going to get the home games, and you don't get, I believe you don't get a neutral facility until the regional finals or the state semifinals. So that whole scenario of all of the games are going to be on turf, throw it out the window. Because we're not going to have neutral sites. The neutral sites in the OHSAA tournaments have always been, at least recently, on turf. And in that regard, this might hurt programs that look a whole lot better on turf than they do on grass. Now, in Southern's case, if they win tonight over United, look, they're getting a high seed. There's no doubt in my mind they are getting a high seed, high enough to where they're probably going to have a bye. And if you heard the comment from Coach Wright, he'd rather play in Week 7. I would venture to say most of the coaches in this area would rather play Week 7. Now, there may be some, and again, knock on wood, hope and pray nobody gets hurt tonight. Especially if you're a playoff team and one of your key contributors, you hope and pray they don't get hurt, obviously. But if something like that were to happen, God forbid it doesn't, but if something like that were to happen, I could see where a coach is going to go, hey, wait a second, we'll take the bye because we got to rest up. We got to get our players, the bumps and bruises, a little bit too much, to give them a week off, they heal, and then we're back at it, ready to go, fresh, ready to go. But if you're on a roll and you don't have any injury problems and you minor bumps and bruises, if it were me, I don't want to buy. I'm on a roll here. I don't want to buy. Let me play here. Unfortunately, yet again, and this goes back, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years, maybe a little longer. In the other sports, you don't have that choice anymore. You've been seeded top to bottom, and if you're one of the 4 teams in a sectional or district tournament, you're going to get a bye, whether you like it or not. And like I said, back in the years that, God, I hate this phrase. When I was in school... But when I was, for lack of a better term, when I was in school, you didn't have that. You had the top seed. They had their choice. Oh, okay, we want to play, or we'll take the bye. Let's go right here, and they take the bye. Nowadays, that doesn't happen, and I get the feeling that again, the sole goal in week number 7 is to get down from 25 or 26 teams in a region down to 16. And then from that point, it's going to be 16-8, 8-4, 4-2, regional finals, state semifinals, state championship game, 7 weeks of the postseason. We're in, we're out. Season's over before Thanksgiving. Basketball starts Black Friday, that Saturday after Thanksgiving, and nobody misses anything. Which, again, under the circumstances, I think the OHSAA has done a phenomenal job with the crappy hand that they were dealt with. Now, whether or not more people are going to be allowed into the stands, I don't know. But we mentioned this late yesterday afternoon. A federal judge in the Keystone State, our neighbors to the east, shot down Governor Wolf's recommendation of limited fans. And I'm just curious if there is a federal judge in Ohio that might be inclined to do the same thing, where he or she might look at this and say, wait a second, 15% of capacity or 1,500? No, that's not going to fly. We're going to override it. I always wanted a gavel. Guilty. Get your ass out of here. All right, 330-886-0813. Back in a bit. It is a free, good Lord. Nothing's free in this world. It is a Football Friday, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. And the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open, 330-886-0813. Back in a bit. Stick around.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
To help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come, so call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Welcome back to a Football Friday edition of Running Points on YSNLive.com. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Coming up at 1:20 this afternoon, we will talk to the head football coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, TJ Parker. Falcons have a monumental test ahead of them tomorrow night at Euclid High School. That's on the eastern side of Cleveland, the eastern suburb. I believe, let me think here, second city to the east of Cleveland. It's either the first or the second city east of Cleveland in the suburbs. Because you got Cleveland Heights is on the east side and Euclid is on the east side, and I'm not sure which one is the first suburb once you get past the city limits, but it's on the east side of Cleveland, and Fitch is going to be traveling to Euclid, and they're going to be taking on a really good Cleveland Benedictine football team. And again, Benedictine 2-2. They have a victory over Harding earlier this year. Their two losses, Akron-Hoban and Massillon. Two of the better teams in Division II statewide. So this should be a really good test for Austintown Fitch. And I made mention, Division II Region 5, Benedictine was Division II Region 6. They got moved to Region 5 when the OHSAA evened up Division II. And for those that are not aware of how the division or how the regions are set up, the OHSAA likes to have even distribution throughout each region. So if there's 88 teams in a division, you can bet your bottom dollar that each region is going to have 22 teams. As long as there is a divider of 4, you're going to have an equal amount of teams. If let's say there's 87, then everyone will not be equal, but 3 of the 4 regions will be, and then the other region will have 1 less. But they like to try to balance everything out, and every region have the same amount of teams, if at all possible. And because the Columbus region had to bring two teams to get even, Massillon Perry and Massillon Washington, which geographically they are the closest to Columbus and the closest to that region, followed very closely by Boardman. But the two Massillon teams, geographically wise, were the closest to Columbus. So those two teams went from Division 2, Region 5 to Region 7, the Columbus region. And now Region 6 had one extra team, and Region 5 had one less team. So they moved Benedictine from 6 to 5. Now, Region 6 is Northwest and the Cleveland area. So it's Cleveland area west and northwest in the state of Ohio. How they like to do this in a perfect world, northeastern Ohio has their region, northwestern Ohio has their region, southeastern Ohio has their region, and southwestern Ohio has their region. Now, southwestern Ohio is filled with, and no disrespect to anyone that lives in southwestern Ohio, filled with a lot of corn fields and a bunch of other stuff. So southwestern Ohio is normally attached to Columbus, which is in the smack dab middle of the state. So Columbus tends to drag the southwestern part of the state along with them, and that becomes the, quote, Columbus region. So you have, for lack of a better word, Toledo region, Cleveland region, Cincinnati region, Columbus region. I don't like it because Youngstown is, part of the Cleveland region, but let's be honest. I mean, we do have a pretty good niche in this area. So northeastern Ohio has their own region, and because Benedictine could have been over in northwestern Ohio, but they had one more team than everyone else in Division 2. So Division 2 Region 5 had one less team. Division 2 Region 6 had one more team. To balance things out, they moved Benedictine over to Division 5. So long story short, as I circle around the game on Saturday, which, that was 5 minutes of a waste of time, but neither here nor there. Fitch is going to play Benedictine tomorrow night at Euclid. And there is a very, very good chance that this may not be the first time they play each other this year. There is a really good chance that Austintown Fitch and Benedictine could be seeing each other again in the postseason. So mark that down. Even though these two teams are playing tomorrow night, this may not be the first time or the last time that they play each other this season. But for Fitch, this is a golden opportunity. You get a victory over Benedictine, and I think that the rest of the teams in Division 2, Region 5 now look at Fitch and look at them as an existential threat to win that region. If not Hoban, then Austintown Fitch would certainly be considered one of the best teams just in case Hoban gets upset. Or, hey, look, and I'd love to see it, Austintown Fitch playing Hoban in a regional championship game. Yeah, okay. Love to see it. I think that if Fitch knocks off Benedictine on Saturday night, there is a really good chance that the coaches in Division 2, Region 5 give Fitch the 2 seed. I think there is a really good chance of that happening. But we'll see. You still got to play Benedictine. You still got to beat Benedictine in order for that to happen. But I think even if Fitch were to lose to Benedictine, unless they're blown out, if Fitch wins or loses in a very hotly contested game, I think they're going to be one of the top seeds, which gives them the automatic bye into Week 8 or the second round of the playoffs or tournament. I liked what Coach Wright said. This doesn't feel like a playoff. This feels like a tournament. And there's a big difference between the two. Playoffs, you're invited. You've been offered or you've been given a seat at the table. In a playoff, you've been given that seat in the table. Tournament, you had your reservation. You had the reservation already. It's like going to a big-time upscale restaurant. You got to have a reservation. Look, I mean, you already had your reservation months ago. So a tournament is everyone's welcome, and we'll have X amount of teams, and hopefully all of the teams. Of course, everyone has the right to bow out anytime you want to, but everyone's invited. That's a tournament. A playoffs are a little bit different. Playoff is you are given a seat at the table. You have earned a seat at the table. Nobody takes reservations in the playoffs. Playoffs are kind of like McDonald's. You don't call McDonald's up and say, "Yeah, I'd like a reservation for two, booth, please." And we'll tip the waiter. You don't get reservations to Chick-fil-A. You don't. Those are the playoffs. You have earned your right to the playoffs. You weren't given this seat. You earned the right to those playoffs. So there's a big difference between playoffs and tournament, and I really like what Coach Wright said. This doesn't have a feel of a playoff. This has the feeling of a tournament where everyone's invited, and let's see what happens. And I like it so much that I'm not even going to use the word playoff now, because I don't believe this is a playoff. I believe this is now a tournament because everyone has been invited. You notice when the all the other sports, when they're playing at the end of the year, they don't say playoffs, they say tournament. This isn't a playoff this year. This is a tournament because everyone was invited to participate in this. Kudos to Coach Rich Wright. He may have come up with the comment of the day. And he is 1,000,000% right on this. This is not a playoff. This is a tournament. Be that as it may, round one of the tournaments will be in a couple of weeks. And before week 6, every football team is going to know who is playing, who they are playing, whether you've got a bye or whether you're playing a team in round one of the tournament. Then we'll know. All right, coming up in about 16 minutes, we will hear from the head football coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, T.J. Parker. We'll have him on at 1:20. Canfield head coach Mike Pavlansky. Listen, Canfield is off to a 4-0 start, and I mean to tell you, this team, they're playing. They're playing some good football. They had a really good 6-game schedule, and this, who was it? Steve Ruman has a really good article in the Vindicator about the undefeated teams, and the concentration was at the beginning of the article on Canfield. Canfield doesn't have a league title to play for. They're an independent. Not that, in today's game, I don't know if league titles are more important than playoff appearances, or in this case, tournament appearances. I think that you'd rather get into the postseason. Now, this year is a little bit different because, again, it's not a playoff this year. It's a tournament because everyone's invited, so it doesn't really feel like you've, I don't want to say accomplished anything, because I think that the teams that are looking really good this year have, in fact, accomplished something. Unfortunately, because everyone is invited to this tournament, the only way you're going to really get recognition is to have that first round bye. Then the coaches are telling everyone, hey, look, man, you're one of the elite teams in this region. That's why we're giving you the bye. And believe me when I tell you, Canfield's getting a bye. Assuming they beat Cheney, and again, that's a big assumption, Cheney is going to give them a game tonight. And Canfield better have their lunch pail prepared, because Cheney is going to give these kids a ball game. But Canfield is looking really, really good. I mean, they're looking solid in Division III, Region 9. Solid program. And I'm looking forward to hearing the outcome of this game tonight. And I'm sure Mike Ackelson and the boys back here are going to be busy in the Audible call that you can watch for free. Go to ysnlive.com, 7 to 10 o'clock tonight. I'm sure they're going to be paying a visit or 2 or 10 to Canfield High School for the Cheney-Canfield game. That game starts at 7 o'clock tonight. The other games going on, Cardinal Mooney taking on Boardman. There's a nice rivalry. Year after year, it's the Southsiders, if you will. Boardman, Cardinal Mooney. Good rivalry. That game's going to be played at Spartan Stadium. Boardman looking to go to 3-2 on the campaign. Mooney looking for their second victory of the season. Ursuline will be visiting Harding. The Irish 3-1. Warren Harding 1-3. That's a really good 1-3 team. Don't be surprised if that game is very tight. East is 0-4. They travel to 1-3 Howland. Cheney is 1-3. They'll be taking on undefeated Canfield 4-0 at Canfield. East Liverpool will travel to Beloit. The Potters have lost their last 2 games. West Branch looking to continue their winning ways. It's been a while. How about 2007? This is West Branch's best start in about 13 years. West Branch 4-0 on the campaign. Toronto will make the really long trip from the Steubenville area all the way up into the Mahoning Valley as they take on 2-2 Camel. Hats off to Mickey Sikora and the Camel Red Devils. They've won their last 2 games, and I made mention when I saw this team play Crestview, this is a team that is going to make a whole lot of noise in the MVAC for years to come. That's a very young team that Coach Sikora has at Campbell. And I really think that Campbell is going to have much better days ahead. And they're already starting to play like a team that I'm envisioning for the next couple of years. This is going to be a really fun conference, the MVAC grades here. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch that conference because there's some really young football teams that are all trying to cut their teeth right now, but you know damn well they're going to be solid in a year or 2. Northeast 8 Conference tonight. Lakeview visits Niles. Red Dragons looking for their 3rd win of the season. Lakeview looking to get into the win column. Really big game tonight over at Poland. Undefeated Hubbard will be at 3-1 Poland. Both of these teams looking to put the finishing touches on a potential bye in the first week of the postseason. Girard is 1-3. They'll be at 0-4 Jefferson. And Struthers 2-2. They visit South Range. The Raiders are 4-0. MVAC Scarlet Tier. Waterloo is winless. They'll be at 4-0 Springfield. Mineral Ridge is 1-3. They pay a visit to North Jackson. They take on the 4-0 Jackson Milton Blue Jays. Keep this in mind. If Jackson Milton and Springfield both win, you're looking at a battle of 2 5-0 teams at Jackson Milton next Friday night. And I will tell you right now, come next Thursday or Friday, one of those 2 days, Nate Brode from Jackson Milton, he's going to get a call, and so is Sean Guerrero, because we have an awful lot to talk about, especially if these 2 teams are 5-0 going into the final game of the regular season. McDonald's 3-1. They're going to be traveling to Berlin Center to take on 2-2 Western Reserve. And Sebring is at Lowville, a couple of teams that are 1-3. Gray tier action. Brookfield and Champion has been canceled due to the COVID outbreak at Champion. They have rescheduled that game for after the regular season. Assuming that both teams have been eliminated from the postseason, they would then play the game that has been postponed tonight because of the COVID outbreak out in Champion. Newton Falls is 0-3 this year. They travel to Crestview to take on 3-1 Crestview. Man, Crestview has looked good in their last 3 victories. And again, everything could have gone. Anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Penalty-wise, turnover-wise, and everything else down in East Liverpool last week. But that Crestview defense, good God, are they impressive. Their defense got after it, and they knocked off East Liverpool. A very good win for Coach Cusick and the boys as they look for their 4th victory of the season tonight at Crestview. Liberty's 1-3. They'll travel to Leavittsburg to take on 2-2 LeBray. Eastern Buckeye Conference, Salem is 1-3. They'll look for their 2nd win of the season. Ron John's club will travel to Minerva to take on the winless Lions. Northeastern Athletic Conference, Matthews will have their hands full tonight. This is a really good Pie Valley team. Pymatuning Valley, I believe they're Division 6. I want to make sure that I have that right. Good God, if they're Division 7, that D7 Region 25 is absolutely loaded, but I believe they're D6. And Pie Valley is having an unfriggin' believable season this year. They've only given up 6 points all year long. That is a damn good defense up there. Chalker and their game against Wyndham has been postponed as well. Eastern Ohio Athletic Conference, Wellsville's 2-2. They make the trip to Columbiana to take on the 2-2 Clippers. Valley Christian is 1-3. They'll travel to Lisbon to take on Matt Altamore and the Lisbon Blue Devils. Southern is 3-1. They are hosting 4-0 United. And tomorrow night on the campus of Youngstown State University, and again, this was courtesy of a donor. An anonymous donor in Leetonia bought out Stambaugh Stadium. Rented it out. I think that's probably the better term. An anonymous donor in Leetonia rented out Stambaugh Stadium for the purpose of having Leetonia play East Palestine so everyone and their brother would be able to show up. Oh, look, 1,500 fans. Okay. But, hey, look, 1,500 fans. Let's see, the village of Leetonia, the village of East Palestine, football fans, you'll probably get about 1,500 for this game. And most of them will be from Leetonia because, well, they're 4-0, and they're having an unbelievable year. Also, tomorrow night, or actually tomorrow afternoon, Warren JFK is 3-1 in the campaign. They'll be taking on Gilmore Academy, not to be confused with Gilmore Girls. Oh, yes, I don't have a life, but, well, who was the brunette, the mom? Good God, was she a good-looking woman? Okay, off topic. Wheels are starting to fall off. Focus, Ron, focus. Warren JFK taking on Gilmore Academy. Gilmore Academy 2-2, Kennedy 3-1. That game is going to be played tomorrow afternoon at Gilmore Academy. Starts at 2 o'clock. And we made mention Gilmore Academy plays their home games on Saturday afternoon because they have a football field that is right next door to a wildlife preservation area. And they don't want to play games on Friday night because if you put the lights on, it'll disturb the wildlife. All right. Hey, listen, I'm a big fan of Saturday afternoon football. I am. I'm a big fan of that. Way back in the day, and the older fans in Poland can certainly attest to this. Way, way, way back in the day. We're talking late 70s all the way into the early 80s. Poland did not have lights. They didn't have lights. So when they played, it was on a Saturday afternoon. And I remember when the Vindicator was not owned by the Tribune Chronicle, and the Vindicator was owned by the Mogg family and TV21, they would have the schedule on for Friday, and here we go on Saturday. Whenever Poland was home, you always had at least one Saturday afternoon game. Saturday afternoon high school football, okay, it's not as good as college football because, we're creatures of habit. Friday night in northeastern Ohio, we're throughout the Buckeye State. Friday night, high school. Saturday, college. Sunday, pros. But every once in a while, I like a Saturday afternoon high school football game. I just do. I take a timeout on the other side. TJ Parker, the head football coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, will join me as Austintown Fitch has a pretty interesting game, and it might not be the first, or it may be the first of multiple meetings between Fitch and Benedictine. We'll catch up with the head football coach of the Fitch Falcons, TJ Parker. That's coming up in a bit. Stick around. It is a Football Friday edition of Running Point, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Back in a bit.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before, but 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Armstrong Local Programming has always delivered an exclusive and unique perspective on the very best events your region offers. High school sports, community events, parades, all your favorite shows from Armstrong are now calling the Neighborhood Channel their home.
Watch Out and About, Locally Speaking, and many other great local shows right here on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Find out everything that the Neighborhood Channel has to offer at ArmstrongNeighborhood.com. Spirit, town pride, local communities. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Hey, welcome back to a Football Friday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Actually, TJ Parker's set to join us at 1:40, not 1:20. Bad run. But it gives me an opportunity. It gives me an opportunity to allow people to let me know that I am great at baseball, and I kind of know what I'm talking about because earlier in the year, resident Yankees fans were up my ass about, well, the Yankees are going to win the East this year. They're loaded. Well, they didn't. Tampa Bay did, like I told everyone they would. To apologize and to announce my profound greatness in terms of baseball, resident Yankee fan is here. Sir, you can apologize now, sir.
Well, I definitely want to apologize to Ron. You are right, 100%. The Rays did go out and win the AL East, but I don't know what else to say. Like, I can't even use the excuse for the Yankees being injury prone because that's what it always is for the Yankees. Shortened season, Tampa played great. They have awesome pitching. The Yankees don't have great pitching, and you picked them to win, and I am sorry to doubt you.
That's all right. And I will say this. As long as the Yankees don't play the Indians in the first round of the playoffs, they win the first round. Because assuming Cole doesn't crap on himself, which he's done a few times this year, Cole and Tanaka should be good enough with that offense that's now healthy, that should be good enough to get into the ALDS.
Yeah.
Right now they're playing Chicago. And by the way, all of this stuff is going to change because, as I said earlier in the week, if Cleveland sweeps Chicago, there is a very good chance the Indians win this division, which they still have a mountain to climb because Minnesota's 2 games ahead of Cleveland. But Minnesota has Cincinnati. Cincinnati's got something to play for. The White Sox have the Cubs. The Cubs have something to play for. The Indians have the Pirates. The Pirates don't have anything to play for, although they've looked decent the last few games. We'll see what happens. But if you're a Yankee fan, I think they're going to be okay in the first quarterfinal matchup because in a best of 3, you win 2 games. You got Cole, you got Tanaka, 2 good pitchers. Yankees should be in good shape. Where it's going to get dicey for the Yankees and any other team that doesn't have strong starting rotation now starts in the DS when you have a best of 5 series. If Severino were healthy, this is probably the best team, not only in the American League, it's the best team in baseball, but because Severino's out with Tommy John, that's why I didn't pick the Yankees.
Well, yeah, that's a big load because he's a young, good pitcher for the Yankees, and he has throw hard, and he's a good pitcher. It's just I'm afraid of Chicago, that 3-game series. I'm afraid of Chicago because they can hit the baseball very well, even as good as the Yankees can. And I think they get by that. And, next round is all up to choice because those 5-game series, you just don't know what is going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be I'm really looking forward to this. And the matchups right now, it's going to change. There's some stuff here that's definitely going to change. I think one thing that's not going to change, Tampa Bay will be the number 1 seed. They have a 2-game lead on Minnesota, and they've already pretty much clinched every other team. I don't think Tampa's going to get caught. They will be the number 1 seed, and I'm pretty sure that Toronto is going to be the number 8 seed. Those are the 2 obvious things. Tampa Bay and Toronto will play each other. Minnesota right now is leading the division. I'm not sold that Minnesota hangs on and wins that division. I think the White Sox could win, the Twins could win, the Indians could win. Who shows up the final 3 games will determine who's number 2, who's number 4. and who's number 7. Oakland's going to have the 3 unless Minnesota, Chicago, and Cleveland all crap on themselves. Then Oakland may go to number 2. Whoever the second place team is in the Central is going to get the 4. And the Yankees will wind up getting the 5. Now, the other way that the Yankees could get the 4 is if they win sweep their series this weekend and have the second place team, whether it be Chicago or Cleveland, completely crap on themselves in this weekend, where the Yankees may be able to steal number 4. So, but I think the Yankees are going to play the second best team out of the Central Division. Whether it's the Twins, whether it's the White Sox, or whether it's the Indians, who knows? But if I were a Yankee fan, based on the fact you guys own the Twins, that's the team I'd want to root for.
Yeah, or I wouldn't be highly against playing Oakland too, because those are the two teams that obviously you said the Yankees have Minnesota's number and also have Oakland's number too. Because they played them, Oakland plays them tough, but a couple years ago, Oakland won over 100 games, and they play them in the play-in game, and New York beats them like 7-3. So I wouldn't be highly against watching those two teams play, the New York.
Well, I wish your Yankees the best of luck until they meet up with Cleveland, because that'll be the end of the road for you. So.
That would be fun. I have a lot of Cleveland Indians fans as friends, so. They would definitely like to see get revenge back on New York.
All I know is when I was covering the postseason, when the Indians gagged the final 3 games against the Yankees in, was it 2017? Mm-hmm. Man, that was ugly.
Oh, I was at my brother-in-law's house when they lost 1-0.
Yeah.
And I'm a Yankees fan, big Yankees fan.
Yeah.
I had to leave. He asked me to go. Get out of the room. Get out of my house. I'm like, okay, I got to go.
But the cool thing about Game 5 was, and I was there covering the home games, 1, 2, and 5 in Cleveland, and the Yankees were down 2-0 when they lost the first 2 games, and how Girardi screwed up a situation in game number 2, and the media was just absolutely hounding this guy, just pounding him, just crucifying this guy. And when the Yankees won this series, I was able to ask Joe Girardi a question, and I pissed off the New York media when I asked him. I said, given the fact that you guys have won the last 3 games of this series and you have defeated the Indians, how satisfying is it when your own media was trashing you the first 2 games of this series? And everyone in the New York media is looking back at me like, how dare you say something like, hey, screw you guys. You were badgering the hell out of this guy, crucifying him. Joe Girardi's good people. I was like, look, man, Girardi's a good guy. I'm not going to, I'm going to stick it to the media a little bit, but I'm also going to praise this guy because he managed his ass off games 3, 4, and 5 of that series.
Yeah. The thing is like that. The whole situation with him coming like getting fired at the end of the year, and that team shouldn't. And no offense to New York, no offense at all. The Yankees team, they should have never been there. Should have never been in the ALCS against Houston. Should have never beat Cleveland. Should have never made the playoffs. But they had a nice little run. But Joe Girardi's time was just up. There was just something about like the Steinbrenner family knew that this is it. Like his run is over here in New York. Not that he was a bad manager, and it takes different breed of people to play in New York because the media is so tough.
Yep.
You just see it. You see Randy Johnson punch a media in the face the first 2 days he's in New York.
Yeah.
It's just a different place. And the Steinbrenner family knew that, and they made a decision to go to Aaron Boone. I do love Aaron Boone. I also did love Joe Girardi when he was our manager, but I think Aaron Boone's a little bit better than Joe Girardi at this point for how young the Yankees are, and if they could figure out the injury situation, they'd be all right.
I will say this. One of the reasons why I picked Tampa Bay to win this division this year, I am not completely on board with Garrett Cole being this Cy Young award-winning type of pitcher. You didn't see hardly any of the glitz, glamour, and intangible stuff that you normally see in New York. Garrett Cole didn't pitch all that well this year.
No, he has home run problems. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. And in Yankee Stadium, as being a short porch and left, that's a big problem there. That's a big problem. That's a big question mark. But I think, like you said, Tanaka being good number 2 starter, it will help Garrett Cole out a little bit more, knowing that, okay, with a backup behind Garrett Cole, I think he can be a very good starter. Like you saw it last year when he was in Houston. He had Justin Verlander, and those two just went off each other and feed off each other through the whole postseason. And
Sure. You knock on wood and hope and pray we have a normal 2021 season. If we do, I'm going to be really curious to see if Cole is able to stand up to the hot lights and the pressure of New York. Because you're 1,000,000% right. There are guys that thrive in that. Reggie Jackson, Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill was incredible as a Yankee. And then there are guys that literally crap on themselves because the spotlight is way too big. And I'm not sure Garrett Cole is ready for that spotlight. That's one of the reasons why I picked Tampa to win this division, and the fact that the Yankees didn't have enough starting pitching to take care of business. But I do like them depending on who they play. I do like them in a best of 3 because, again, if Cole is pitching his caliber game, they should be okay. Tanaka's solid. They should be okay in a best of 3 as long as they're not playing a team with a really, really decent or good top part of their starting rotation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that 100%.
All right, sir.
Hey,
I know DJ had you at gunpoint coming in here to apologize, but in all honesty, we were going back and forth all year long, and at the beginning I was like, oh shit, I might have made a bad mistake, but then Tampa Bay did what I thought Tampa Bay was going to do. So
yes, sir. Well, have a good show.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. And it feels good to have someone apologize to me. Yes, I must admit. Now, look, we have a lot of fun with this, and I have plenty of Yankees fans who are friends, and they give me all kinds of grief, especially in 2017. They give me all kinds of grief. But look, they're going to be a tough out in the best of 3. But and again, for folks that are Yankees fans, you're not going anywhere. You're not winning the American League pennant unless. Let me preface that. Unless someone other than Cole and Tanaka start pitching out of their mind, J. Happ or one of the Montgomery, one of those guys. Unless one of those guys starts pitching out of their mind in the postseason, I just don't see it happening. Now, J. Happ had a nice year, 3.25 ERA. That's not bad. That's not too shabby. But you got to have a third. And you're assuming that Garrett Cole is going to be able to step up and be the number 1 starter that they're hoping that you see. Look, the Yankees are in the playoffs, and as a matter of fact, all 8 teams in the American League, we now know who the 8 teams are in the American League. The only thing that is in question right now is if the Houston Astros are going to hang on for second place. They have a 3-game lead on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and all they need to do is win one of the 3 games against the Texas Rangers, which shouldn't be a problem because Texas sucks this year. So you would think that the Astros are going to get in. So you have the 8 teams that are pretty much set. 7 of them have clinched. Houston, all they need to do is win 1 game, and they're in. The National League is a whole different story. Dodgers are in, the Braves are in, the Cubs are in, the Padres are in, and that's it. The Cubs have not clinched anything yet in terms of their division, although all they need to do is win one game, and they clinch the Central Division. Dodgers have clinched the West. Braves have clinched the East. Dodgers have clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs, even though that doesn't matter because it's a neutral site. San Diego has clinched second place, so they're going to be in the 4 spot. The free-for-all is this little area here. St. Louis, Miami, Cincinnati, San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee are all going to be trying to get the final 4 spots. Cardinals right now are in second place in the Central Division. They have a huge weekend series with the Milwaukee Brewers. Cincinnati's going to be playing Minnesota, and Cincinnati still has a lot to play for because they're only up by 1 game in the 7 seed. Philadelphia is 1 game behind Cincinnati for the 7 seed, and they're a half a game behind San Francisco for the 8 seed. The National League is all kinds of crazy right now. The Cubs have an opportunity, albeit it's kind of a distant opportunity, but they're 2 games behind Atlanta to potentially have the 2 seed. So the Cubs play the White Sox this weekend. Minnesota's playing Cincinnati, and again, we mentioned Cincinnati has an awful lot to play for. Pirates are going to be playing the Indians. Pirates' season is long gone. They're 18-39, the worst record in the National League. The worst record in Major League Baseball, but they can play spoiler, and they haven't looked all that bad in the last couple of games. They've knocked off the Cubbies and did so in pretty good fashion when they played them earlier this week. So even though the Indians swept the White Sox, the Indians, they're going to need to play some good ball in order to take care of the Pirates. And again, if the Indians take care of the Pirates and Cincinnati were to win 2 out of 3 against Minnesota, Cleveland ties Minnesota for the top spot. Now, the tiebreaker, unfortunately, Minnesota has it because they have 1 more games head-to-head. So the only way the Indians were to win the division, Cincinnati would have to sweep Minnesota. Cleveland would have to sweep Pittsburgh. White Sox could win this division. Again, they're only a game behind Minnesota. They have the tiebreaker because they've beaten Minnesota in head-to-head. So all Chicago has to do is tie Minnesota for first place. They win the division, and then Minnesota's playing the Yankees in the quarterfinals. So there you go. All right, we're going to take a timeout. On the other end, we will talk with T.J. Parker, the head football coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons. Stick around, more to come.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
boy is recovering from a broken
around our valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect.
It's important for everyone.
No place like home.
More local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
Welcome back to a Football Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com as we get back into football mode. And let's get to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, where we find the head football coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, TJ Parker. Coach Parker, how are you today, sir?
Good, Ron. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Wow, it is a great time to be a Fitch Falcon. We made mention prior to the West Side duel with you guys and Cheney that you were really starting to put some great things together with Austintown Fitch, and sure enough, you guys are off to a 4-0 season. You've played really, really hard in the 4 games, and the ball has bounced your way when it needs to, and it's a great day to be a Falcon fan and a great time to be a Falcon fan right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. And you know, my staff, the kids, they deserve all the credit for that. This is something we talked about right when we took over, about being in these games and then taking things over the hump, as I talked about after the Warren Harding game. Just, we believe we've always been a good team, and it's always been a privilege to be a Falcon fan. But we kind of, this is the year where we started to put things together, and we love that it's happening this quickly. And we're excited about what we can do, and obviously a big game coming up this week.
This is one of those games that takes on a little more meaning, I would imagine, with the OHSAA looking to even the regions all over Division II. They kicked Massillon, Washington, and Massillon Perry down to the Columbus region, and then moved Benedictine from the Toledo region, northwest Ohio, back into the northeastern Ohio region. So I would imagine, Coach, this game now has a little bit more meaning because you're taking on a team that you may very well see again in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't know. I know you do your homework, how much you've looked at our region, but you know, right now we're sitting. If all teams declare, the top 6 teams will have byes. And you got to remember, we're doing the seeding after this week and then before week 6. So you're looking at a Benedictine team who's sitting at 2-2 right now, and their 2 losses are to Massillon, Washington, and Akron Hovind, and by many considered 2 of the best teams in all of Division II. So you have them sitting there. This is, you know, a must-win game for them to somehow crack into that top 6 and get a bye. And then you look at us. You know, we get this win and take the team to 5-0. There's no reason why we shouldn't be in one of those top 6 teams in our region and get a bye the first week of the playoffs.
I think it'd be a criminal investigation if you guys didn't get a top 6 seed. And look, coaches are going to be voting on this. From what I understand, the computer polls are going to have nothing to do with this. This is all going to be coaches doing the seeding from top to bottom. And let's play off of that. Okay, let's say you guys knock off Benedictine on Saturday nights, and you're 5-0. And the coaches from Region 5, Division II, Region 5, all get together, and you guys get a real low seed out of the deal.
Yep.
There would be some more ingredients put into the fire, more fuel to the fire, because, and I'm sure you would agree with this, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'll let you answer this question. It seems to me that the Mahoning Valley, in all sports, has gotten a little lost with the rest of northeastern Ohio, and a respect factor from the Akron, Canton, Cleveland brethren not necessarily there all the time. Would you tend to agree with that, Coach?
Yeah, I completely agree with it, and that's honestly my biggest worry. Even at a 4-1, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be up there with the quality wins and the quality opponents that we've played. We're definitely focused on 5-0, but I couldn't agree with you more. In my background with baseball and so forth, you look at Division II and Division I, Division II, there's just not very many Youngstown teams. So the guys in Cleveland and Akron who are consistently playing Division I and Division II teams like the Federal League, which we went in our past, we find out when it comes down to it, those guys all stick together. And in voting, maybe a 500 team from their league is looked at better than a 1-loss or a 2-loss Youngstown team. I think that's why this year is going to be so unique and so fun to watch that I'm excited for our area. Obviously, I'm very excited for the Falcons, but I'm excited for the teams that we beat and play just to show when these guys get into the tournaments, when a Boardman and a Warren and an Ursuline and a Cheney, when these guys get in their regions and all these other teams think, oh, I'm looking at a 2-win or a 3-win team from Youngstown, they're going to be surprised on how good these teams actually are. And I think you're going to see Youngstown teams climb through the playoffs.
You bring up an interesting point, and Coach Wright said this as perfectly as anyone can. This is not a playoff now. Playoffs are folks that are invited. This is a tournament, and everyone has got a seat at the table unless you decline to get into this tournament. But I think that there is a lot of credence to what you said. The disrespect in certain ways that this area gets, I think that's going to be a thing of the past this year, and maybe COVID is the best thing to happen to this particular area for the exact reason that you just said, Coach, because everybody gets a seat at the table. And now we're finally going to find out just where we are in terms of our football against our brothers in Canton, Akron, the Cleveland area, and all across northeastern Ohio. Let's see just how good the Mahoning Valley stacks up in a tournament format for football.
Exactly. And people don't realize how much money goes into these things when, we're asked, you look at us, or we have to play the Warren Hardings, we have to play the Boardmans because they're the larger schools, in our region. And we've tried, and we can't get other Division III, Division IV schools to play us. And not many schools can afford to travel to Cleveland and Akron and all these other schools consistently. So you end up playing the teams in your area that'll play you. And then however the cookies fall, when you talk about a playoff and being invited, some teams that are really good teams are left out because they were playing larger schools and lost, or, they just didn't rack up the total points to get in. But now that everyone has a seat at the table, a lot of teams are going to have to put their money where their mouth is and, actually play us now. So we're excited about that.
Austintown Fitch head football coach T.J. Parker joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. I asked Coach Wright down in Southern this question, and I'll ask you because you're a candidate. 6 teams will get a bye as we go from 26 to 16 in week number 1 of the postseason. Let's assume for a second that you do get a bye. In your heart of hearts, Coach, in Week 7, assuming that your team is completely healthy, there are no significant injuries, if you were given the choice, do you want to play and continue to get on that incredible roll that you're on right now, or do you shut it down and rest for a week and get ready for round 2? If you had your choice, which one would you choose, Coach?
I've been back and forth with this. I definitely don't think there's a definite answer. I think it's always great when you play the level of football that we play here to give your guys some rest. But make no mistakes about it. The rest for us is looks a little bit different than it does for maybe some other smaller schools. We'll be getting after it, and we'll be looking. The state actually allowed us to have scrimmages. So if we are fortunate enough to get that by, we'll be calling some teams to see if we can get maybe an organized practice, good versus good, just to stay sharp for that week. And then there's the other side of it. I want our kids healthy. You know what I mean? I want them to have that advantage. And the reality of the situation is you have a good season, you put in the work, and it's a week 1 win, so you deserve that to advance. And that's what we talk about even this season. You know, I was talking to a couple college coaches, Coach Brian Crisp, former offensive coordinator at YSU. We had this conversation that, you know, coaches tend to look at the regular season. You have a win, and maybe it's an ugly win. Your team doesn't play good, and you're stuck on it, and you come to film, and you're talking about this, this, and this. But when you get to the playoffs, you win, you advance, and you move on. So it's kind of, we worked this hard. We've earned the right to get a first-round bye. Okay, we've advanced. Now it's time to prepare for the next game. So I'm on both sides of it, but, yeah, I'm glad we're in the situation that we have the opportunity to earn a first-round bye. I'll take it, and then we'll make sure myself and our staff puts in the work to have our team ready for that round 2.
All right, let's talk about the opponent in hand that may very well prevent you from getting a bye, and that's Cleveland Benedictine. 2 wins, 2 losses on the campaign. We made mention they lost to arguably the 2 best teams in Division II in the state of Ohio, in Akron, Hoban, and Massillon. What does Benedictine do, as you've seen them on film? What do they do that could cause concern for the Falcons Saturday night in Euclid?
Yeah, I mean, this is not an overstatement. I definitely believe this is the best team on our schedule and the best team we have seen to this point. Defensively, they're a 3-down front with 3 very, very good defensive linemen, and then linebackers who can run. And they can run in the secondary. They have athletes. And then offensively, they do a really good job of mixing up an under-center power run game with then taking it over the top from the gun and throwing to their athletes on the outside. When you look at their team makeup, they have a very, very good high school quarterback who can use his legs to threaten you. They have a very, very large and physical O-line. They have to be 6'2" across the board. And right around 275 to 300 pounds across the board. And then they got guys they can throw to on the outside. So anytime you have that balance where you can take advantage of run and then beat you over top, that's pretty scary for defenses. And then, you know, as I mentioned, their defense, I think it's just such a good defense. We anticipate them trying to come and man us up and playing a little bit of man free and seeing if they can get to Devin and in our backfield, and then if we can get open on the outside. So we look forward to that challenge.
Speed factor, and I know that you're going to be playing at Euclid. Euclid has turf. You guys have been playing on turf all year long. Are you comfortable with a speed matchup?
Yeah, I don't think there's a team in Division II where we're getting overly uncomfortable about speed. If we have one thing, we do have some speed on the perimeters and that. But, you know, any time with us, we're an undersized unit on both fronts. So when I look at that, we always get nervous how we're going to hold up on the offense and defensive lines. But our kids are unbelievably tough, and they're excited for the challenge.
Coach, let me ask you, because of the undersized on both the offensive and defensive lines, especially when you're going up against arguably one of the largest offensive lines in all of D2 football, are without giving up the game plan, is there going to be more blitzing than usual?
I mean, you know, we do what we do. I mean, Fitch has always been a heavy blitz team, and we like to put the pressure on defenses. As I mentioned, we're comfortable with our speed on the outside, so we do mix in a lot of man, a lot of coverage, and we're a press team now on the outside. So, yeah, I mean, you'll definitely see us get after them a little bit. It's what we have to do. If we don't have, the weight up front, we got to use our speed to our advantage, and our guys will be moving, and we'll be sending some different things at them.
Hey, before I let you go, you have an opportunity, you and the rest of the coaches in D2 Region 5 are going to have an opportunity to vote. I posed this question to Coach Wright when we had him on earlier. He made the comment, why not just go to the computer and just play the final game of the regular season and let the regular season dictate where we're going to be with the computer rankings? Are you good with that, or do you prefer doing a vote to see where you guys are after week 5, or would you rather have the computer make that choice for everyone?
Here's my stance on the whole thing. Whatever rules they give us, we're willing to follow by and we'll move forward with them. The thing I don't like about the whole situation is the wishy-washiness between, okay, last year we had a system that we felt has always been right in previous years. Points are earned, top teams make it, here's how we enter the playoffs with the top 8, all going based on points. I don't understand why that would change any this year, even with all the teams getting in. Why wouldn't seeding still, if the system we felt was perfect and worked for us, why would we change the system just based on more teams getting in? If the point system works for us, well, then you seed it by the points that are there, and we move forward. But
it's a valid point, Coach. It's a very valid point. And by the way, if the computer rankings were the end-all, be-all, Austintown Fitch would currently be number 4 right now in Division II, Region 5, and very close behind number 2 Hudson and number 3 Walsh Jesuit. So, look, I agree with you. I think that they should have waited till the end of the season and let the computer rankings speak for themselves. But again, that's you guys get to vote, and hopefully you'll be voting your hopefully 5-0 Fitch Falcons as a very high seed, and hopefully you guys get a very high seed when the seedings are announced next week. Congratulations on the start. Good luck to you on Saturday night against Benedictine at Euclid. This should be a fun game and a great test for you guys. Continued success, Coach.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you for everything you guys do for us.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, sir.
You have a good one, Ron.
All right, you as well. TJ Parker, he is the head coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons. Mike Pavlansky, coach of the Canfield Cardinals. His team is in action tonight. A game against Cheney. Should be a lot of fun. We'll catch up with Pavs after this timeout. Stick around.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
It is a Football Friday edition of Running Point, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Week 5 of Football Friday in the Mahoning Valley. Tonight, undefeated Canfield will look to win their 5th consecutive game as they take on a very good, despite a 1-3 record, a very good Cheney Cowboys team. And joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals, Mike Pavlansky. Coach Pavs, how are you today, sir?
Doing well, Ron. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Congratulations on the start, and kudos to Canfield going on the road in a hostile environment. Even though it's 15% of capacity, anytime you go down into Dover, it is a hostile environment down there, and you guys were able to have a very impressive 31-10 victory over Dover. You're back home in the friendly confines, taking on a team that, okay, they're 1-3, but they sure as hell don't look like a 1-3 team in the Cheney Cowboys.
You're exactly right, Ron. We're really pleased with our kids and the progress we've made over since the summertime through the first 4 weeks, and that was our first win at Crater Stadium, playing the Dover Tornadoes. Tremendous performance by our guys, but that's all in the past. They tell you, if what you did yesterday still seems big today, you're not going to accomplish much today, and that's very true in the ball game we've got. Cheney is a very dangerous team. They are a 1-3 team. Very easily could be 3-1. Certainly the fastest, most athletic team filled with Division I athletes that we have faced all year long. So we have a huge challenge here at 7 o'clock at Bob Dove Field.
Yeah, and both teams are more than capable of playing on the turf. Cheney's been playing on the turf all year long. You guys have been playing on the turf for the most part, and that's just the speed factor will be there for you guys. That's quite a challenge because you can't teach speed, Coach.
No, you're right, Ron. Very hard to duplicate in practice. We could talk to our defense about being in the right spots, but, until they see the speed in the first quarter, you're probably not going to truly understand it. And then, hopefully you make the right adjustments as far as your angles are concerned. And because if their speed gets to our secondary, it becomes a track meet, and we're not going to catch them.
Coach, talk about the last 2 weeks. You've taken on two teams south of I-77, two teams that have been, quite frankly, really, really good football teams in that part of the state in Division III in New Philadelphia and Dover. You had New Philadelphia up in your place. You went down to Dover, but two teams that have that really solid mentality that a southwestern Ohio team normally has. The experience factor of playing the two elite programs down there, that had to have been huge for you guys.
Yeah, certainly. When we do a schedule with Mike Cochran, our athletic director, we're looking for the best teams in Northeast Ohio to play as far as in our division within travel distance, and certainly Dover and New Philadelphia fit that bill. And teams are going to get you ready for the playoffs. One of the things that we've liked to do here in the last 20 years is that every year we want to take a long road trip. We want to go to a Chardon, a Kenston. We've gone down to Dover. We'll go to New Philadelphia next year, just so our kids can get used to a long bus drive, get off the bus, and be ready to play football. Because if you're fortunate to advance in the playoffs, and the further you advance, those road trips generally tend to get longer. And by doing that in the early part of the season, that gives our kids some experience there also.
Coach, 27 teams in Division III, Region 9. It would appear the top 5 teams will get a bye when we open up the tournament in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight, 2 weeks from tomorrow night will be weekend number 1 of a 7-weekend tournament where everyone in the state of Ohio has been invited to participate. And I look at this region You've got Chardon. You've got a good Streetsboro team, New Philadelphia. Steubenville is in it. Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary. You got a 4-0 Hubbard team. You got Cheney in this thing. Good God, is this region loaded?
You missed some teams. Dover, New Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like you said, Streetsboro, St. V's. I mean, Kenston, Chardon. It's a heck of a region. Aurora is in there that was in the regional finals last year. It's a loaded region, there's no doubt. And to be honest with you, Ron, that's the last thing on our mind. That thing's going to play out the way it plays out next week with the coaches seeding for the first time ever. We're certainly honed in and focused on tonight's ball game. And wherever we get seated and wherever we're told to go and play, we're going to certainly do that.
Let me ask you, obviously since 1972 when we had the first year of the OHSAA playoffs, they've gone by the computer poll. Is it a little different this year that instead of playing the regular season, letting the computer do its job to seed teams from 1 to 27 in your guys' case in Division III, Region 9, is it a little odd, or do you like the idea of having a vote in this whole scenario starting next week?
It's certainly new to us, Ron. I don't like having a vote, to be honest with you. I think one of the things that makes football special in Ohio is that you have to earn your way in. Before this year, you had to finish in the top 2, the top 4, now the top 8. Next year it's going to be the top 12. You've got to do enough during the regular season to earn a right to be in the playoffs. Different this year, absolutely. But if I had my choice, we would have to earn the right to be in the playoffs. And so when we look at the playoffs next week and we're asked to seed teams in our region, that's certainly going to be different.
Is there strategy involved in that? And I say that because, well, there's really not a team that everyone universally says, hey, we're the number 1 seed and everyone knows it. I mean, you don't have an Akron Hoban, you don't have a Lakewood St. Ed's or a team that everyone knows, okay, they're the benchmark. All of us are fighting to try to approach them deep in the playoffs. Is there going to be strategy involved in this, Coach?
Well, I don't know what strategy could be involved. Certainly we're going to rank the teams using Joe Itel as a boundary, using that as a resource. We're going to use who we've played, because obviously we know what New Philadelphia is like. And if they're 3-1 or 4-1 after tonight's ball game, and somebody may be 5-0 but hasn't played the schedule New Philadelphia has played, then New Philadelphia, I think, deserves to be a little bit higher. We know who Steubenville is. We know who Dover is. Certainly, we know who Cheney is. Cheney's going to be probably the best 1-3 team in our region. They're either going to go in this thing at 2-3 or 1-4. And I'm going to guarantee you, there's nobody in Region 9 that wants to face the Cheney Cowboys in the first round. And so you go in and you're going to do the best job that you can in seeding the teams according to what you know. And are there going to be difference of opinions? Absolutely. And that's part of the seeding process.
TJ Parker, I had him on just before our interview, and he said something very interesting. There seems to be, I'll just flat out say it, there seems to be a disrespect from the rest of northeastern Ohio, Cleveland, Akron, Canton, a little disrespectful toward the brand of football that is played in Youngstown. And I love the idea that this year it's not a playoff now, it's a tournament because everyone was invited. So this is no longer a playoff where only the elite teams get a seat at the table. Everyone had a seat at the table whenever you wanted it. So this is now a tournament. And this might be the best thing to happen to Mahoning Valley football, because if there is a lack of respect, and I believe there is from our brothers in Cleveland, in Akron, and in Canton, well, then it's up to the schools in the Mahoning Valley to pretty much get the respect that they deserve. And my money's on you guys and a bunch of other teams in the Mahoning Valley to basically say, we're here, we play great football, and you're never going to disrespect us again.
Well, it's certainly true. That hey, you're in the playoffs, you have the right to opt out, and then most of our players, most of our schools have opted in. You get a chance to go and play and see how good you are against teams, from around the state, from those areas you talked about. And after this year, obviously, hopefully that perception of Mahoning Valley football can change, but that's ultimately up to the teams to go make that change.
No doubt, and like you said, I don't think anyone wants any piece of a 1-3 Cheney Cowboys team in the first round of this tournament. Now, look, let's talk a little bit about this Cheney game tonight. And obviously, it's in Canfield. You guys a little more familiar with your home facilities, but the game's all going to come down to are you able to contain their incredibly talented quarterback?
He is, and he's incredibly talented. He can throw. He's gotten so much better in the past year, throwing the football so much more accurate. And then, obviously the number one threat is he can beat you with his feet. He's a smart young man on the field, knows how to run their offense. He gets to the right guys when throwing it, and then when he's running, he's a powerful runner. We've seen on tape him just flat out running over linebackers and safeties. And, he'll deliver a blow when he needs to. Petrosky's probably the best all-around quarterback, without a doubt, that we have seen and probably will see for the majority of the year. Ron, it's going to come down to one thing. Does their speed win, or do we control the ball and we win? If we're able to keep their speed off the field, we're going to have a real good chance at winning this thing. If their speed overtakes the game and we can't handle their speed, I'll be honest with you, it could be a blowout.
And listen, Coach, we were obviously on the same wavelength because the greatest opportunity or the greatest way of keeping speed off the field is basically playing keep away with a football. And look, there's no secret. You guys have a very large team up front, and you love to be aggressive and pound the ball, and that equals long, sustaining drives, put some points on the board, keep their offense off the field, and Canfield wins this ball game.
You got to hope so. I think it was our best chance to win the game. Whether or not we win, who knows? But holding on to the football and limiting their touches gives us the best chance. The one concerning thing that we have is that in the first 4 ball games, we have lost the time of possession battle in each ball game. That's got to flip tonight. If we lose the time of possession tonight, once again, it might not be a close game. Certainly Cheney's going to walk away with it.
What do you do in practice to prevent that? People can sit back and go fumbleitis or however you want to call that. What can you do in practice to try to avoid those things?
Well, again, in practice, you're talking to the kids about the important keys of the ball game. And you're really honing in practice on techniques and how you're going to block somebody, how you're going to defend them, what's your special teams plan. But you just got to continually talk to the players about, hey, this is what's going to happen Friday night. And hopefully we execute at a high level and give ourselves the best chance to win.
You get a victory over Cheney. Do you expect your team to have a bye in round number 1? And let me ask you, if someone were to ask you, hey, you get the option, would you, in week 7, would you want to play or would you want to take that week off?
Boy, that's 6 of 1 and a half dozen the other, Ron. It's just we've had that conversation in the last week in our staff room. We've had that conversation with Mike Cochran, our athletic director, who has been fortunate to coach at the collegiate level where they had teams have a bye week during the season. And, obviously if we're fortunate enough to win tonight, I think we've done enough to be one of those top 5 seeds. It just depends on how the coaches are going to vote. And, we'll take that bye week. We probably could use it to get healthy, to be honest with you. We've got some guys that are banged up. They're still going to play. But we could use that week to get banged up. Obviously, the fear is, you take a week off and just practice and don't have a competition on Friday night, you lose that edge. And that's something, if we're guaranteed a bye week or we're given the bye week, we got to really guard against.
Hey, Coach, best of luck to you tonight. A heck of a great start, and hopefully Canfield keeps it rolling tonight.
Appreciate it, Ron. Great to talk to you.
Same here. Mike Pavlansky, the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals. Give me a timeout. We're back in a bit. It is a Football Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Football Friday edition of Running Point, courtesy of MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Potesta with you right up till 3 o'clock. Well, I'm going to be with you long after 3 o'clock. I mean, knock on wood. But I'm with you today up until 3 o'clock. Then Power Hour coming up. I'll be at Crestview tonight for the Crestview Newton Falls game. I'll be broadcasting that game on ysnlive.com. By the way, you should know the drill by now. I mean, good Lord, we're in week 5, for God's sake. But if you don't know the drill in terms of the of getting the pay-per-view, it's real simple. First and foremost, you need to use the device you're planning on watching the game from. So let's say you have an iPad and you want to watch the game from the iPad. So using your iPad, you would go to ysnlive.com. So go to ysnlive.com. There's a nice little website there. Click on Teams, which is, I believe, upper left-hand corner in that vicinity. Click on Teams. You'll have a drop box, and all of the YSN teams, teams that are currently on YSN, are going to appear. Chronological, I'm not chronological, alphabetical order. They will appear. And you choose the team that you're planning on watching tonight. Now, I'll use Crestview because that's the game that I'm going to be broadcasting. So if you are going to watch the Crestview game on pay-per-view, you would go to ysnlive.com, click on Teams, the drop box falls, the teams in alphabetical order, look for Crestview near the top for those that don't know, and click on Crestview. And then you'll fill out the information and pay $9.99 using your credit card or debit card. And 25% of the $9.99 charge is going to go to the home team. And tonight, Crestview's home to Newton Falls. So if you're planning on watching the game tonight between Newton Falls and Crestview, you would sign up for the pay-per-view. It's $9.99. And again, it's not per person. If you have a large group of people that are planning on watching this game, and by the way, you can do that. I was down at the Italian American Club last week because Crestview was in East Liverpool. We have our broadcasters that do Potters games on YSN, so management gave me a night off, and I gladly took advantage of it. Went down to the Italian American Club and watched Leetonia play Wellsville because at the Italian American Club, they had the Leetonia-Wellsville game on, paid $9.99, and they put that bad boy up in throughout the bar. And we had a ton of people from Leetonia that converged at the Italian-American Club, and we all watched the Bears win. So it's not $9.99 per person. It's $9.99 gets you the pay-per-view. If you want to, if you have a smart TV, and you hook up your smartphone or iPad to the smart TV and you want to watch the game from the TV, there you go. Get as many people as you want to watch this thing. That's fine. It's $9.99 to purchase the pay-per-view, and 25% of that price is going to go directly to the athletic department of the team that is home for that particular game. In this case, if you're looking to invest and watch the game tonight between Newton Falls and Crestview, 25% of all the pay-per-views would go to the Crestview High School athletic department. So there you go. If you do not want to pay $9.99 to invest or to watch a game, that's fine. Hey, look, there's more than two ways to get your fill of high school football. And let me invite you, if you have not seen it already, let me invite you to Audible Call with Mike Ackelson and the cast of thousands. Well, not literally thousands, but it sure does feel like it at times. Mike Ackelson and the cast of thousands in the YSN studios here in East Palestine. Think about the Red Zone channel. If you have the Sunday ticket, you would look at the Red Zone channel. Andrew Siciliano, from a national standpoint, they do a fantastic job. They're getting you to places, stadiums where teams are just about ready to score. They're in the red zone, hence the term Red Zone channel. All the coverage is from those teams. Well, we're doing the same thing, although we call it Audible Call. And Mike Ackelson, I call him the maestro because he's the guy in charge of this orchestra. The maestro and his hundreds of people in the studios telling him where to go, Mike's been told where to go, but that's neither here nor there. The folks telling Ackelson, hey, you need to go over here, and they automatically go right over there. And then you will have on the screen coverage and audio from the YSN broadcasters. So it's a really, really cool show. And better than anything else is the fact that it is on our free website, which is ysnlive.com. You don't have to pay for anything. If you choose not to spend $9.99 to watch a team play, that's fine. Again, no problem with that. But we will have on the free part of ysnlive.com, Mike Ackelson and company doing Audible Call. So you can definitely keep updated with all of the action in week 5 of the high school football season. You can definitely keep up with all the action by going to Audible Call and having some fun with that. All right, we have talked with a number of coaches, and I must admit, and listen, I understand where the OHSAA is with this because they wanted this tournament to have the feel of the tournaments with the other sports. volleyball, baseball, softball, basketball, not cross country, but those sports that I just mentioned. You have a sectional and a district and then a regional and then a state tournament. But all of those sports that I mentioned, girls volleyball, boys and girls basketball, baseball, softball, coaches will rank the teams in their tournament. They'll rank the teams 1 through 11, 1 through 12, 1 through 13, however many teams are in the tournament. They will rank them, including their own team. And with those votes, the points are tabulated, and then they get to the top seed, the second seed, the third seed, and so on. So the OHSAA wanted to have the football playoffs, which is it's not a playoff now, it's a tournament because everyone's been invited. This is not an elite, only the elite show up. Now it's a tournament. So they wanted to use the same template that the other sports have used. And I understand that. I get that. But I'm kind of on board with what Coach Wright said at Southern, and I'm on board with what Coach Parker said at Austin Town Fitch. Since 1972, when the OHSAA decided, hey, we're going to have a football playoff instead of allowing the Associated Press to make their mind up on who the best team in the state of Ohio is, why not have these guys literally earn it on the field? So in 1972, the OHSAA got together and they said, yeah, we're going to do a playoff. We'll divide the three classifications, AAA, AA, and A, into 4 different regions, and we'll take the top 2 teams in each region. And that's how it started in 1972. And for the first, I want to say, dozen years, they went top 2. And then they went top 4, and then they went to top 8. And as Coach Pavlansky made mention earlier in the hour, next year they'll go top 12, with the top 4 teams getting a bye into the second round of the playoffs. And again, I understand that the OHSAA wanted to have the coaches decide who the top seed is and rank them top to bottom. The more I think about this, the more I'm kind of on board. I'm not kind of. I am on board with keeping the same thing that you have done for the last 48 years. 48 years. And that's the computer poll. Instead of having a vote and having coaches basically vote for their own team and vote for familiarity instead of the unknown because they haven't seen that team yet, I would just as soon rather play out the season and use the computer poll to determine who the top 5, 6, 7 teams are going to be. So however a number of teams are in a region will determine how many teams are going to get a bye into the first round, because the ultimate goal is to get to 16 teams to week number 2. The more I think about it, the more I would hope, and it's not going to change, but I would hope the OHSAA would at least consider the possibility of playing out the regular season and allowing the computer to do the job. You've allowed the computer to do the job since 1972, when you first allowed a state playoff to happen. The computer has been the one constant in the state playoffs. And this year, it's not a playoff, it's a tournament because everyone was invited. This year, they're going to get away from that. And that's the only hiccup in an otherwise unbelievable setup that the OHSAA has here. It's the only hiccup. For me, I think if you play the 6 games and you go to the computer poll and you figure out, okay, who is the top, and I'll use Division III, Region 9. Top 5 teams are going to get a bye. There's 27 teams in the region. Top 5 teams are going to get a bye. Right now, if they were to use the computer, Chardon, Streetsboro, Canfield, New Philadelphia, and Geneva would be your top 5 seeds. By the way, New Philadelphia last week, coming off a loss against Canfield, they beat Steubenville 31-0 at home, which Steubenville playing on the road is very rare. They have 4 games on the road, and actually down to 3 now because they canceled tonight's game against Wheeling Park out of West Virginia. They canceled that game. Steubenville previously had beaten Cardinal Mooney up in Youngstown. They had beaten Dover at home. They had beaten Lindsley out of West Virginia at home. And last week they got destroyed by New Philadelphia. They're off this week. They will play in Austintown next week against Fitch. By the way, Steubenville is number 6 in Division III, Region 9. If the computer was used, top 5 seeds right now would be Chardon, Streetsboro, Canfield, New Philadelphia, and Geneva. I'll be real curious if the votes equal the computer poll. Because, again, there's going to be a lot of strategy involved in this. There's an awful lot of strategy involved in this. If you're in Division II, Region 5, you're not going to want to play Akron-Hoban in the second round or the third round. If you're a team that should have a high seed, Fitch right now is number 4. That would be the location. That would be the location where you would want to have Fitch. And I don't know if there are going to be teams that are going to be jockeying for a position to avoid Hoban as long as possible. Or maybe there's going to be some coaches that are going to be like, "Hey, let's bring them on. Let's have at it here." I think it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be fascinating that there is going to be strategy involved in the voting. But I wish the OHSAA would reconsider and just allow the computer to do the job, and not have any kind of hanky-panky going on in terms of, well, I'm going to vote for familiarity instead of the unknown, or, well, I'm going to vote my team to be here because I don't want to play this team right away. I just as soon rather have the computer decide all of this once the season comes to an end. Let's get to the phone lines and talk to the fans. Champ, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on, Champ?
How are you?
Good, man.
Hey, listen, I'm loving your conversation because I was kind of to the game late on this whole thing, and when I found out that they were going to pick the team similar like they do with high school basketball tournaments, and kind of where there's more politics involved, more strategy, as you just mentioned, and they weren't going to use the computer rankings, which I think have proven over the years to be pretty solid. It takes the politics out of it. It doesn't matter if you're a great team, the greatest team in the United States, you may end up being the number 2 seed, which, it is what it is. And in this era of everything's uncertainties and we don't know what's going on, that they would keep something that's solid that they could still tie this whole thing to. It's the computer rankings, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm a little. I mean, look, I understand why the OHSAA is doing this, because now this isn't a playoff; it's now a tournament, and they're going into tournament mode where the other sports have tournaments, and they allow the coaches to seed their teams top to bottom in the tournaments. I get the reason why they're doing this. I just disagree with it because the computer has been the final word for the OHSAA since the start of the postseason. Even though this isn't a playoff where only the elite come to the table, and it's a tournament, I would have hoped that you would wait until the end of the regular season and allow the computer to do its job.
Right, and consider this scenario. You just asked that you would like to see, curious as I am too, is how it matches up with the top computer teams in the region and how they decide the tournament seedings and the matchups. But what if they're totally the opposite? What if the seedings don't even compare to the computer rankings? You're wondering, is this a signal that the coaches don't care for the computer rankings, or they just want to do it differently? Or, I hate to say this, do they just want to be involved in the process? But their coaches of football teams, they worry about that. Turning the playoff setup, that should be done by the computers.
No, I think it should be done by the computers. And again, I think there is a very real disrespect in northeastern Ohio in terms of the teams around here. And, you know, when you have as few teams, we'll use Division II, Region 5 as a great example. Fitch, Boardman, and Harding are the only three teams in that region. And if Austintown Fitch is, 5-0, 5-1, 6-0, actually we're going to go coaches vote. So let's say they go 5-0 and they beat Benedictine. It would be a crime to me if Austintown Fitch is not the 2 or the 3 seed, because frankly, the schedule that they've played and the fact that they've just knocked off Benedictine, assuming they can do that to go to 5-0, they should be the 2 or the 3 seed. And you get the feeling that there's going to be coaches that are going to be more apt to vote for the teams that they know rather than the teams that they don't know.
Yeah, and let me just add this little statistic, too, that if you know the stats about champions and seeds, which I do know very well, as you can see in my evidence, that most of the champions in this tournament, when they went to the 8 seeds, most of them are 1s and 2s, and as you go down the road, you get down to what I think 8. There's been 1 or 2, maybe 7, 3 or 4. But the bottom line is the seeding is pretty good by the computers because most of the champions are the 1 and 2 seeds.
No question. And the computer. I think the computer is a much better gauge, a much better model, a much better sample than the coaches. I don't think the computer is as flawed, and it doesn't. I guess the best way of doing this, the computer doesn't show emotion where the coaches do.
Right. The computer is very simple. It gives you points when you beat a team, and then gives you secondary points, the team that you beat, who they have beaten. It's very simple. The scores of the game mean nothing. Home and away really means nothing. I mean, that's for other sites to handle, but it's very simple, as you know, how they do this point system in high school football.
No question. Champ, what else is on your mind, brother?
Nothing. I want to wish your Bills good luck this week, and you're going against an undefeated team, and my Raiders are going against arguably the best team of this century. At least right now they are, hands down. But curious to see. I think the Bills are, I would say, a year or two maybe ahead of the Raiders in the rebuilding process. But the Raiders have enough young talent to catch up in a hurry.
I think the Bills are in really good shape on Sunday. And as a matter of fact, I will venture to say that Buffalo wins this game big in terms of double digits. And I say this because I think the Los Angeles Rams have made a tactical error after their game against Philadelphia. This is the second consecutive game for the Los Angeles Rams on the East Coast. And they decided after the Philadelphia game that they would go back to Los Angeles. I think that's a big mistake. I think that the Rams should have found a place in upstate New York or found a place somewhere in the Eastern time zone, camped out, used the facilities, and did their practicing on the East Coast, Eastern time, and stayed in the Eastern time zone. By traveling cross country 2 times in less than a week, I don't think the Rams are going to be mentally ready to play the game, nor do I think they're going to be physically ready to play the game. And I think if Buffalo has a healthy Milano and Edmonds to make that defense elite, I think Buffalo beats this team rather convincingly. And normally they wouldn't, because I think the Rams pose a very difficult challenge because they're that talented. But I think the Rams made a serious mistake going back to Los Angeles and risking the opportunity or risking the chance of their team getting very tired from 2 cross-country trips. And I think that's going to show on Sunday.
Now, if the game is close, I see one problem for Buffalo, and that is they would bring in that Atlanta Falcons special teams guy to show them how to handle an onside kick. Then the Bills are in trouble.
Yeah. Well, and a note to self, if a ball is inside of 10 yards, you have the opportunity to pick it up. And I'm still in awe of the stupidity by the Falcons players. They waited until the ball was 10 yards. And I'm looking at this going, why the hell isn't anyone jumping on that football? Dallas has to wait until the ball travels 10 yards. The opposing team doesn't have to wait. Get on that football.
You know, if you would have given all those Atlanta players a broom, it would have looked like the Olympic sport curling, the way they were handling that ball. It looked like it was that puck that goes down in the curling competition. They were like sweeping it. Instead, they didn't want to pick it up, but they were like sweeping around it so it went faster. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get this one at all. I was disappointed. But then again, you know, Atlanta's used to choking a lead, so there you go. By the way, the Los Angeles, there you go. The Las Vegas Raiders will make a trip into Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots. And yesterday, charges against Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, were dropped because the prosecution was not allowed to use video evidence that Robert Kraft did, in fact, solicit prostitution. So because they weren't allowed to use video, Robert Kraft got off. And, well, let's just say that Robert Kraft got a happy ending yesterday.
I guess you could say he indirectly used the top rule in that whole situation.
Ah, very nice. Well played, sir. Well played.
Okay. Good talking to you, Ron.
Same here. I appreciate it. You too. Yeah, well played. Quick, put the thing on the 20 seconds on the time, and let's see what we can say about this. Robert Kraft, he got off yesterday. Robert Kraft, he was found not guilty. I guess that's his happy ending. That's all I got. That's all I got. You know, I mean, there's only so much you can do about that whole scenario. Look, hey, I guess you're not allowed to use the video because it's not legal to use the video. So prosecution needed to how do I say this? Well, I'm not even going to approach the subject. Even though it is internet, I don't want to approach the subject because we may have kids listening, and I'm not going to go into detail. But look, bottom line, Robert Kraft got away with doing what he did. He got away with it. I mean, plain and simple. If video were allowed to be used, he would be caught with his pants down. He just would. You know, he solicited a prostitute, for God's sake. But video's not allowed, so Robert Kraft gets his happy ending. Let's go to the phone lines. You're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's up, Tony?
Do you think you would have got that consideration? Do you think they would have thrown the video out for you?
I wouldn't want to see that. That's no, thank you. There's far more people that I would like to see But no, thank you. I'm not
asking if you want to see it, but if you were in that circumstance, if you're not Robert Kraft, do you think you get that consideration to walk away?
Well, video's illegal in the state of Florida, I guess. So maybe I do get off, and that's kind of a personal question, but I'm gonna leave that one alone, Tony, and hope and pray that I am not in that situation anytime soon.
I haven't looked into it that much, my friend, but if video were illegal in Florida, this thing would have gone away 2 days after this happened. So I'm wondering if they just waited till the smoke cleared and then let it fade away.
Well, Robert Kraft isn't the only one that escaped charges. Everyone that was there that day escaped charges. So,
well, that day, you have to in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this: if you're playing that onside kick, and it was a unique scenario, they should have been expecting an onside kick, and it was bizarre the way it happened. But the best thing to do is come in at the right angle and just slap the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that way...
you're not going to be able to handle that ball. Those guys are not used to handling a ball doing that.
No, and I agree with that. And it's not like you would give the ball back to Dallas. That's not a violation where you would give the ball back to the Cowboys. At the very least, they might penalize Atlanta and have them kick over again. But again, I don't understand why Atlanta didn't jump on that ball or do something prior to the ball going 10 yards.
I think they get the ball where it went out of bounds. That's what happens on a muff kick. It goes out of bounds, and you get it where it went out of bounds.
Well, but if someone decides to bat it out of bounds on purpose, I'm not sure if that rule exists.
I'm not saying kick it, but interesting. Hey, on this discussion you're having about how you establish these teams, and I don't disagree with you that the computer system has been a good system for the state of Ohio. But I agree with Parker from Austintown, who said, make a decision, stop waffling, blah, blah, blah. And they did make that decision August 6th. They said, we're throwing out all regular season games. And remember, they don't make these regular season games up in a week and a half. It takes time and a lot of jockeying to get these games scheduled. So now that everybody gets to cancel all their games, and a lot of those games are established, the schedules are established to make the playoffs, position your team to make the playoffs. They throw it out August 6th, say that the coaches are going to vote, and then after the fact come back and say, well, we changed the rules on you again. Once the rules are established for a game, the game is set.
No, I agree.
You want to do something different next year, do that. But don't play around with what you've done this year.
No, I agree with that. I just think that, and I'm pretty sure the reason why the OHSAA did that was because this is no longer a playoff. It's now a tournament, and they wanted to be consistent with all the other sports that have tournaments, where the coaches get to vote on the teams that are playing in their sectional district, or in this case region, so the coaches get to vote. I wish that the OHSAA would have sat back and said, okay, instead of the coaches voting after week 5, let's just play the season out, let the computer do its job. That'll seed the teams, and then we'll have our first round of the tournament coming up in week number 7.
I think the computer rankings are a lot more. Football is a lot more conducive to an accurate computer ranking than other sports are. Baseball's a 50-50 sport. Kind of a 50-50 sport, whether you win and lose.
Well, it's
elite teams.
Yeah, but baseball is contingent on who's pitching. If you have a dominant pitcher on the mound,
correct,
they're going to be unbelievable or very hard to beat. If you've got someone that gives up a ton of runs, then obviously it's another scenario.
Yeah, if you have two great pitchers and one horrible pitcher, 2 pitchers can carry you a long way in a lower division of baseball.
Oh, there's no. Look at Champion. Hell, look at South Range when they won championships in baseball. You get 2 good starting pitchers. All of a sudden, as long as you play defense and you don't allow extra outs, your 2 starters can pretty much write your ticket to a state championship.
Hey, Ramirez have a chance for the MVP?
Oh gosh, I would hope so, but I don't think he's going to. I think that Abreu's had a better year. Luke Voit from the Yankees is having a really, really good year this year, and that's going to be a chore. Ramirez got hot at the right time, though, Tony, and if he can stay hot, oh my God, this team is going to be very dangerous if they can continue to play and put up the runs that they have, because very quietly over the last 7 or 8 games, Cleveland has put up more than 4 runs in most of those games.
And we talk about Ramirez and he's on fire now, great. But I'm not sure that can carry a team. What about if the guys at the bottom add 20 points to their batting average?
Well, that's the other part. Yeah,
that's
Tony,
monumental.
Absolutely,
that's monumental. If Ramirez comes back to earth and everybody at the bottom adds 20 points, you're an offensive team then.
Listen, if Roberto Perez gets his head out of his backside and starts to hit like we know he's capable of hitting, if Mercado gets his head out of his backside, if Luplow gets his head out of his backside, which he's starting to, by the way, and these other guys in the bottom of the lineup, and then you regenerate back to the top of the lineup with Lindor, Hernandez, Ramirez, get Santana going, get the big man Reyes going again, this could be fun. This could be an awful lot of fun.
I want you to comment on one more thing you've been talking about, putting a pitching up a good pitching team in a pitcher's friendly park. Let me play the other side of that. If you have a great pitching team, aren't you better in a hitter's park? You may give up some things, but if you have the dominant pitching, less balls get into play generally, and you have less opportunity. I mean, that's the other side of your argument. You know what I'm saying? You're taking your offense away, too.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, I understand that. But I guess it depends on where the pitcher is doing his thing. I mean, if he's an overpowering pitcher, frankly, it doesn't matter if you're playing in a bandbox or in the canyon.
If he's Bieber, he's striking out 45% of the batters regardless.
Well, he's doing that not because he's overpowering. He's doing that because he's locating his pitches. If Bieber doesn't locate his pitches, he can get lit up in a bandbox, which is why I think in a gigantic stadium like Dodger Stadium or Petco, put Bieber and Carrasco and the rest of those guys in that scenario. Oh man, I'm taking the Indians all day long. Yes, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt the Indians as much as you think, Tony, because the Indians aren't a home run hitting team. They're more of a slash the ball in the alleys and whatnot, and go from there. Look, okay, we get some.
I give you that. And Ramirez's home runs aren't wondering if they're going to get out type home runs.
Yeah.
They're either gone or they're not.
Yeah. Tony, we got to get going because we got breaking news coming out of thank you very much. And I just got the breaking news. And, DJ, I want to make sure that we got this. Crestview and Newton Falls have been canceled tonight. No reason on this. This is a weird story coming out of Crestview tonight.
A outbreak at Newton Falls with COVID-19 has canceled the varsity and Saturday JV, and middle school football games are all canceled.
Wow.
We heard rumors of it being in Newton Falls earlier this week, but nothing ever transpired. And now we've got no game tonight. And I know there's a lot of kids that are going to be frustrated from this. And we talked about it. We've been relatively unscathed through 4.5 weeks.
Yeah, now it's starting to come.
This is not good.
No, definitely not. And
because we have Champion.
Yeah,
that game is axed.
That game is axed.
It's moved to the 23rd.
Well, Champion in Brookfield has been moved. Now Crestview, Newton Falls have been moved. And by the way, all happening out of Trumbull County.
Yeah,
I don't. Just saying.
Thanks to Paul Cusick for sending us the messages and keeping us up to date. And obviously, breaking news right here on YSN. Again, no game tonight for Crestview and Newton Falls. So there you go.
I'm eating your food and I'm staying here tonight.
Well played.
Yeah, there you go.
I gotta go get ready.
Order an extra pizza because I'm here tonight.
We know.
Oh, shoot. All right, so there's your breaking news. Crestview and Newton Falls, no-go tonight. COVID outbreak up in Newton Falls, and man, that's tough. Newton Falls and Champion both with COVID outbreaks, so the Champion Brookfield game has been postponed now. Newton Falls and Crestview has been postponed. And because I was going to do the Crestview game, I'm going to be here tonight helping out Mr. Ackelson and the rest of the fellas. They're going to have to tutor me on what to do. I mean, I can sit back and go to Canfield! We're going to go to Canfield! But, I mean, I kind of want to do it in a professional way. Yo, Ack, get over to Canfield. All right, so the Crestview Newton Falls game postponed. Keep it here on YSN for the audible call coming up tonight from 7 to 10 o'clock, and I'll be amongst the minions with the audible call. Stick around. Coming up in a bit, we have Power Hour. Power Hour coming up today from 3 until 4 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will talk on Monday.